The primary caregiver steps away, shifting the room's power dynamic. A novice is left in charge, and the environment immediately destabilizes. Evolution has equipped infants with a highly effective tool for survival: crying. It is an inescapable, penetrating auditory alarm designed specifically to force an adult into immediate action. But this biological alarm has a massive design flaw for the unprepared. It lacks a diagnostic code. The infant cannot point to what hurts, what is missing, or what they need. Faced with this loud, ambiguous signal, the novice's instinct is usually to guess. They grab the nearest object, perhaps a brightly colored toy ball, hoping a quick distraction will turn the alarm off. It rarely works. The distress continues because a superficial distraction cannot solve an underlying physiological deficit. To actually silence the room, the caregiver has to stop throwing random toys at the problem and start applying a systematic, deductive process. The first logical hypothesis in this process addresses the most common cause of infant distress: a deficit in sustenance. The baby is hungry. The caregiver begins administering the solution through standard spoon feeding, establishing a baseline of calorie transfer. Then, a new variable enters the equation. The infant rejects the passive feeding, grabs the spoon, and attempts to feed themselves. While this disrupts the efficiency of the meal, it is a necessary hurdle. This messy grab for the spoon is a crucial developmental milestone, marking an early assertion of physical independence. The caregiver adapts. By yielding control and allowing the self-feeding to happen, the nutritional deficit is resolved, and the baby is satisfied. This initial victory provides the novice with a working proof of concept. They now have the confidence required to tackle the subsequent, more complex distress signals that are bound to follow. And they do follow. When the alarm inevitably sounds again, the caregiver doesn't panic. Instead, they deploy a rapid-fire diagnostic checklist. This is a flowchart mapping the caregiver's decision tree. At the top of this flowchart is the distress signal, leading immediately to the most critical check. Node 1, nutrition. A bottle of milk is administered. If the crying stops, the sequence ends. If not, the system routes to the next check. The caregiver moves down to Node 2, cognitive engagement. The baby might simply be understimulated and bored. They introduce visual and auditory stimuli, a quick game of peekaboo or a novel bouncing toy, to bridge the engagement gap. If the baby remains distressed, the algorithm points to compromised hygiene. A quick physical assessment reveals a soiled diaper. Applying a fresh, soft replacement eliminates the physical discomfort. Finally, if all prior nodes are cleared and the alarm persists, the system defaults to the last remaining variable: physical fatigue. The infant needs sleep. Rapidly and sequentially checking these 4 variables, food, stimulation, cleanliness, and rest, forms a complete, highly effective algorithm for infant soothing. The room is finally silent. The baby is asleep, and the chaotic alarm has been completely neutralized. There is a pervasive myth that keeping an infant calm requires an innate parenting instinct, that you either naturally have or you don't. But in reality, caregiving is a rigorous, observable system. It is the continuous process of forming hypotheses and providing targeted, logical responses to a subject who cannot speak. By carefully decoding nonverbal cues and running them through the 4 core checks of sustenance, engagement, hygiene, and rest, any novice can master this process. This methodical approach silences the alarm while teaching the infant that their environment is responsive and predictable, establishing the foundational trust required for healthy human development.